of us, it's because we're new to this. We're new to the whole God thing. We're new to feelings that we should, the little nudges or little thoughts that are planted in our head that we should go pray for somebody, or we should go to some stranger in a restaurant and just give them your testimony. Sometimes we give into the lie that we're not worthy or we can't do that because we're new to this. We haven't been here as long as so-and-so. We can't do what they do. For some of us, it's life situations. It's bad balls life throws at us. It's bad home lives, or it could be a number of things that, well, I come from a family like this, so surely God's not calling me to do that. Little old me who mom and dad don't come to church, or mom and dad don't believe in the way I believe, surely he's not calling me to do that. A lot of us give into that way. For me, I was raised in this, and I thought certain things were required of me. Because I was raised in this, I should be able to sing like this, or I should be able to speak like whoever. I should be able to teach. I should be a better saint. I should do this and I should do that. Because I was raised in this. And for me, that was all a lie from the enemy, right? Because he knew if he could get me to question who I was in God, he had me. If I questioned, okay, well, I'm supposed to do this, or I'm supposed to do that, but when he's like, no, I need you to do this. I want you to be this. This is who I've called you to be. But the enemy kind of creeps in and says, you can't do that. These are where your talents are. They're not here. You're not called to do this. So if he had me believe in that, he had me right where he wanted me, okay? And I am extremely sad to say that I gave into that lie for a really long time. A really, really long time. And if I was being completely transparent, it was just within the past year that I let myself become liberated from that lie. And how that happened, and this is why it's so important for you to have friends of like faith in your circle, your close, the people that you lean on needs to be your youth pastors or your parents if they live in this and they believe in this, or your friends. Because this past year, God, and a few individuals in my church, God laid a burden for me on their hearts. And they, thankfully, listened to God. They made themselves available because God had called them they knew who they were in Christ. So they were available and they were humble enough to listen to God and accept the burden they had for me. So in return, when they started praying and they started seeking God, they in turn came to me, and God began to humble myself. Because using these individuals, he kind of brought to light things about me, things I didn't realize, lies that I was given into. So, and in return, when God started working in me, I started seeing some things about myself. And guys, let me tell you, at 28 years old, it completely changed my life. When I started seeing who I was in Christ. Not who I thought I should be, or who so-and-so thought I should be, but who God thought I should be, and who he saw me as. And it completely changed my life. It completely changed my prayer life. I began to pray in a certain way because I knew who I was. I know who I am, and I know who God's called me to be, so I can pray effectively because I know who I am, right? It changed my burden for my young people. It changed my burden for my church, for revival, for my family even. It completely changed everything I saw and the way I saw it. Like I said, my prayer life was impacted in a way I never thought possible this past year. I didn't start praying the way I should. I prayed, but we all pray, but are we praying effectively? Are we seeing things change, like Alyssa said? Are we seeing things come to pass? Are we having the faith for God to do what He wants to do in our life? Well, that happens when we know who we are in Him, and we're praying the way we should. You're going to start seeing things come to pass. And for me, I started realizing what I was called to do, right? God started giving me gifts that I never thought was even possible. I started praying in a way that I never even dreamed I could. I completely blew my mind when I started seeing things the same way. And you don't have to wait until you're 28 years old like me. You can start seeing those things, and God can start giving you those gifts at 15, 16 years old, 12 even. You don't have to wait until you're 28 like I did. Okay, so what happened when, let's move on. So when the devil starts to try to target you and try to question who you are, once you have established who you are, the devil is going to creep up. He's done it for me this past year. I'll get to this high. He'll start showing me things. He'll start using me in certain gifts. And here comes the enemy right behind me to kind of push me and try to stumble. And I'm not saying I haven't, because I have. But now that I know who I am in Christ, His love is powerful enough to keep me and my relationship with Him strong, even when the bottom falls out of my life. Right? Because I know who I am, and I know who He is. Right? So His love is there, and His power is there to pick me up, even when I'm going through the worst situations of my life. Okay? So the Bible itself is filled with so many. Who goes to the Bible for inspiration? When you're kind of down and you just need a little pick-me-up, you can find something. Any situation that you're going through, you can find the answer in the Bible. So this past year, God showed me a lot of people that different situations than me still had to step out in faith and accomplish phenomenal things, right? So Esther, I don't know if you know who she is, but Esther was chosen very quickly, was chosen to be queen over her particular land, and she found out that her people were fixing to be destroyed, and she went, God impressed upon her to go to the king, and you did not do that in those days or you would be killed, and she stepped out on faith anyway, and ultimately saved her people, right? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. As hard as it was, they knew what was going to happen if they did not bow to that statue. They knew what was going to happen, but they did it anyway, and God was with them in the fire. Okay? Mary, she knew what she was going to get when she accepted that precious gift. She knew what people were going to talk about her, but she didn't care. She had faith and trust that God knew what He was doing, and she knew that her child would save the people in this room. Right? David, he was probably scared to death. Maybe not, but I would have been if I was standing in front of Goliath. But he had faith that God could do anything. and he saved his people. Right? So, I am almost done. Hannah, can you come, please? Whatever you want to do. So, there's this one song, like I said, I'm almost done, but it has spoken to me on a lot of different levels this year. Because no matter what we do, no matter how we fall, God's love is always there to pick us up. Right? And when we question, okay, can I really do that? I did this, or I might have thought that. Just a second, buddy. But I still, I can't do that, God. I've thought these different things, or I've been tempted these different ways, so I can't do that, God. Just pass me on up. Right? So this song, we heard it earlier, but it really truly has, amongst many, has been an anthem for me this year. And it says, when I see shattered, right? So sometimes when our home lives are really, really hard, things might not be going our way. We look at that situation as it's completely broken. It's shattered. But God sees whole, right? And when we become who we are in Him, we'll start seeing that. No matter if we're going through the fire, we're going to see the end. We're going to know there's an end. No matter what's going around us, we're going to know there's a better. There's something greater on the other side. We see broken, but He sees beautiful, right? So I know there are people in this room that when you look at yourself, all you see is broken pieces. God can't put me back together. He can't do that through me, but He sees beautiful because He called you here for a purpose, right? In the next line, and I'm telling you, this whole, I just read it, I don't even have to listen to it, I just read it over and over. He helped me to believe. He helped me to believe that He could restore me piece by piece. And that's exactly what He did this year for me. He restored me. Is He still working in me? Yes. And He will continue. He will continue because I won't be a full puzzle until I get to heaven. Right? But I can allow Him to, every little bit, okay, I've spoken to her and she's listened, here's that piece. She's stepping out on faith, here's that piece. You don't have to be a broken vessel. You don't. At 15, 16-year-old, I know it's hard, but you don't have to be broken. You don't have to be shattered. You can be beautiful and you can be whole because He called you. He loved you. And He died for you. Right? Do we believe that? Do we believe that God died for us so we could be beautiful and whole and called? And He's given us piece by piece. It doesn't matter what our home lives are like. It doesn't matter what we deal with at school. It doesn't matter what you've always believed about yourself. It doesn't matter what's happened in the past. What matters is, okay, all right, God, here I am. What have you called me to do? Who am I through you? Right? And if you're at that place, all I'm asking is, if you're tired of seeing yourself broken and shattered, and you're ready for God to make you whole, and for you to see who you are, and for you to start seeing things in your life, I'm asking you just to come up here, give it to Him, let Him do it. You don't have to find strength in me or in your youth pastors in your church. We're here, and we will give that to you, but ultimately, guys, it's through Him. He is the only person that can fix you. Right? So if that is what you want for your life, if you are tired of living that way, go ahead and come up here. There's plenty of people here that will pray for you, and I truly believe you can leave this place in victory, and you can leave this place whole, and you can start seeing what God's called you to do. You can start seeing revival in your lives and your church. I see shadows, you see gold. I see broken, you see beautiful, and you're helping me to believe. You're restoring me piece by piece. There's nothing to learn that you can make worthy. You wash me in mercy. I am clean. There's nothing to learn that you can make worthy. You wash me in mercy. I am clean. What was dead now lives again. My heart's beating, spinning inside my chest. Oh,